soup. Nice. Yeah, our keynote speaker, Mr. Alfonso, thank you very much. Domoda, I don't know what that is, but I would like to actually explore. Chow mein, I don't know what that is, but I would definitely like to explore because what is life without actually exploring? So I think we don't want to waste our time. Let's just go straight into the conversation as we have our keynote speaker with us. Okay, so for me, I forgot to share. Mine is actually pounded yam and a efori roll. Do we know what that is?
Yes, now.
Oh, you know, Mr. Alfonso.
Yeah, pound yam now. That's a staple in African household.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So now let's just like dive straight into your session. And we have an inspiring keynote speaker, Mr. Alfonso Wise. I'm not sure I'm actually pronouncing that name right, but I hope I'm doing so. CDM, CFPP, Director of Nutrition Services at Delmar Gardens in the United States. So Mr. Wise will actually share his expertise on nutrition services and policy advocacy. Ladies and gentlemen in the house, please welcome Mr. Wise. Can you drop some emoji as Mr. Wise take the podium?
Good afternoon, everybody.
It's
I
it's
was
night in
really
Nigeria.
hoping. I really thought my section was at 1:30. So so the planner just called me and said, "Hey, you on in a few minutes." So I said, "Okay, I will hurry up and grab my things." So you have to pardon me a little bit if I start rough, but I hope not to start rough. You know, my approach to nutrition was in the mental health, you know, uh, 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 um, side where how does nutrition affect mental health and how does stress affect the body intake of nutrition and the body use of nutrition. Can you all hear me? Everybody there?
Yes, yes. Go ahead and drop
Yes,
some
we can hear you.
emojis.
We can hear you. Sorry.
Yes, some
Good.
thumbs up, some
Yeah,
celebration, some heart
yeah,
emojis. So
because
we
I need to feel like I'm not talking to myself.
yes, yes. Keep the
Yeah.
emojis going, people. Keep the chat going. Good,
So
good.
yeah, there has been a lot of study done on the correlation between stress and nutritional intake and the use of comfort food uh, during high stress. And the result of that can can damage your health by obesity and or heart diseases or diabetes, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that how they deal with stress might actually be affecting the body ability to use the nutrition you are taking in. So my approach is to actually help people when they come to me about health issues, in my field as a nutritionist, is to guide them away from processed food. I saw a study done in Christchurch, 2014, and and I believe her name is Dr. Glenda, something like that. But anyway, she was basically kind of saying that the the Western style of nutrition is actually more harmful to the body than, you know, for instance, we from Africa or from the Caribbeans or even from Southeast Asia and stuff. The kind of diet we are used to is actually better than the Western diet because the Western diet is mostly processed, and GMO failed. So when you're dealing with stress and you're in a high stress environment and you are eating all these processed food, it does damage to your body because one, your body cannot process processed food. So what the body does, it packs it in in different parts of your body. It's not able to use it for the intended purpose. I'll give a typical example. I traveled to Africa 2 years ago. I was there for 5 months, and and I was there eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I was going crazy with food because I'm a foodie. But I saw myself losing weight. Even though I was eating heavier, I was losing weight more in a high consumption environment because the food I was consuming was natural. It was not processed. It was mostly organic, you know, and and I continued to lose weight. And then I said to myself, I said, this is what I have been talking about to folks that when you are, especially when you're in a high stress environment. What is a high stress environment? You're raising a family, okay? And in an African setting, that's a great level of stress you are dealing with, okay? And especially if you are in the Western countries where you have to get up in the morning, go to work, sometimes work a double, and come home, no time to spend with the kids, no time for yourself, go right to bed, might eat something on the road, grab a bite, a burger or something like that. It affects your health greatly, negatively, actually, because one, you are not resting, two, you are not eating the proper nutrition. You are eating processed food, chemicals and hormones and antibiotic and all kinds of stuff that they feed those animals that they process into the hamburgers and the sausages and stuff that you are eating on the go. Whereas when you are in they call us the South, Africa and Asia and South America, you most likely going to be eating any Caribbeans. I can't forget my Caribbean brothers. You most likely going to be eating stuff that is fresh cut, stuff that is plucked out of the garden that very day. I was telling somebody that the the reason why the food is so fresh in Africa, because the person selling in the open market most of the time had just harvested that stuff either that morning or the day before, and they're bringing it to the market, and they don't have money for chemical pesticide or for how you call this, the fertilizers from the store, but they might be using compost, from their animals, or from their food that they're eating. So they are basically growing real organic food, bringing it to the market, and you are purchasing organic food. So that helps your health. I also have another story to where there was a guy here in Philadelphia in the USA who was diagnosed with kidney failure, and they gave him about 2 weeks for him to start dialysis. Well, he decided to go to Africa. He said, I'm not going to get on dialysis because he worked in healthcare too. And he was like, I'm going to go home and I'm going to be fine. Everybody advised him, don't go, da 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 da. The hospitals in Africa, he said, don't worry about it. And what he did was when he got to Africa, he just used food because the food he was eating was causing his kidney to overwork. And that was causing problems with his kidney's inability to function. So when he got to Africa, he started eating natural food. The body received that natural food and process it perfectly, metabolize it, and get it out of his system. And before you know it, his kidney issues went away because he started eating right. My point to this whole discussion is that when you are in a high stress environment, especially if you're in a high stress environment, whether it's school, work, politics, or whatever, that's when you have to be really careful in what you are taking, because at the end of the day, it affects your health greatly. You can be healthy for 50 years and and eat bad food in 1 year and get sick and die the next year because of what you are eating that 1 year. So you can undo all your good fitness all through the decades in just 1 year because what you're eating is poisonous to your body. So my advice to everyone else on this line would be to stay away from processed food as much as possible. You know, drink natural drinks. Stay away from sodas. I'm not going to call any brand because I don't want to get sued by the companies, but processed food in general is not good for us. You know, a home cooked meal is always better, and fresh fruits and vegetables, fresh meat. Another thing I will point out, there are cultural differences in that dietary acceptance, meaning what is good for you in West Africa might not be good for those in Europe. What is good for you in South America might not be good for those in Asia because their genetics have adapted to certain nutritional intakes. You know, the reason I say that is somebody pointed out on social media that the Maasai tribe of East Africa does not eat vegetables. They drink blood and they eat meat. That's their staple diet, is meat and blood and milk. But yet they are one of the strongest people on the face of the earth. Very lean, can run 50 miles nonstop, you know, just have too much energy to spare. Whereas somebody else might say, well, I eat a lot of vegetables, like in India, they do a lot of vegetarian meals, and it works for them. So depending on your region of the world, you have to decide, you know, what is acceptable for you to take and what works for your genetic makeup. Because trying to do what worked for another genetic makeup might not work for you. So I guess my input there would be, you know, Asian African, and you grew up around eating fresh herbs and greens and cooking these things, stick to it because that's what works. You see, folks say in America, folks say do not eat pork because pork is bad for you. I say eat pork if that's what's good for you. Because my grandfather he died at the age of 100. And his favorite meat, and he told me this himself when he was 90, his favorite meat was pigs. But his pigs were free range pigs. It was not processed animals, you see. And my grandmother lived to see 112 from eating healthy food, village food, farm grown food, garden food, you know, not visiting supermarkets and buying all these fancy labels and paying all kinds of crazy money for it, you know. But grow your own herbs, grow your own vegetables and stuff, you know, and try your best to find non-GMO seeds if possible, you know, or don't use these things, you know, the fertilizers that they have here that can cause a lot of problems in your body, you see. So yeah, I think I might be running out of time, so I'm going to pause there and open the floor.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Mr. Wise, for that opening. So I actually noted some things while you were talking, and one of which is when you are in a high stress environment, you should ensure that you are extremely careful with whatever you are eating. So this should be a major takeaway for every one of us who are also on this call. We should be very, very careful with whatever we are going to be taking into ourselves, especially when we are in a highly stressed environment, or when we have a change of environment. We should be very, very careful with whatever we are eating. We should stay away from processed food. We should take natural drinks. So for like 2-3 years now, I stopped soda drinks, and it's just been so amazing. At first, when I started, it was kind of very much difficult because you're going to be thinking, okay, so aside soda drinks, so what else would you drink? But trust me, there are a lot of things that you can take. You can start with water. You can start with water. Then along the line, you go with tiger nuts. Along the line, you see a lot of juice that interests you. Along the line, you find a lot of options. There are a lot of options. Then I get interested in smoothies. I got more interested in parfait and all of that. So you can also challenge yourself, or I am challenging you to cut down on soda. Say no to soda. Please, just in case you are a friend to Coca-Cola, I'm not saying you shouldn't buy their products. Please patronize their brand if that's what is good for you, because you also made an analogy of your grandfather or your grandmother who actually take pork, and there are a lot of people who say don't eat pork meat and all of that. However, your grandfather took pork meat and he actually lived about 100 years or thereabout. So you should be able to know what is actually good for you, and you should say what is good for you. You know what works for you. And thank you very much, Mr. Alfonso. We said that was actually short, quite interesting, and very much insightful. Thank you very much. However, we have another keynote speaker, but we want you to still stay on the call as we have questions.
Saba,
yeah?
hold on.
Yeah,
1 second. Love your energy. You're doing so great. We actually had taken the other keynote for this session earlier, so we have some time. We have like 20 minutes.
Oh, perfect. That's just so nice. So, Mr. Alfonso, we have series of questions for you.
We have 13 minutes. Yeah, we have 13 minutes for questions for Mr. Wisse. Yeah.
No problem.
Exactly. So we have series of questions for you. So we are just going to keep the conversation going. So, Mr. Wisse, should I just start the question, or if you have some more things to share with us? Maybe you should go ahead. Okay, so we should just. I'm with you.
I will add as needed. Based on the questions asked. Yeah.
All right. Okay, that's perfect. So let's start with the primary drivers of malnutrition in various regions. So I'm trying to understand, what do you think are the primary drivers of malnutrition in various regions, and how do they differ?
Well, in various regions, one thing that is common for malnutrition is wealth distribution. I don't mean to sound political, but let's get to the root of the problem. You see, even in Africa, where there shouldn't be food deserts, there are food deserts. And what a food desert is where you cannot find a place to go to the market and buy your fruits and your vegetables and your meats and stuff like that. And usually it happens in poor neighborhoods, So food desert is a key factor to malnutrition in that community, where people have to resort to only processed food versus eating fresh fish. Like, for instance, if in your local neighborhood, without taking the keke or the motorcycle or the bus or the taxi, depending on where you are, or driving in your local neighborhood, if the stores there only carry canned fish and lunch meat and stuff like that, you will be prone to buy those things and use them on a daily basis, as opposed to where you have access to fresh food. So wealth distribution and accessibility, is a key factor to malnutrition in any community.
Oh, that's actually very much true, because wealth distribution and accessibility is actually a major issue when it comes to malnutrition. I remember in Lagos State currently, there is so Lagos is a state in Nigeria, for those who do not know, and Nigeria is in Africa. So there is a food hub that is being designed by the Lagos State government, and the food hub is actually to bring a lot of farm produce directly to consumer. So the food hub is just like promoting a very much good nutrition for Lagos residents, and is actually across the whole state. And they're also opening a very big one somewhere in the outskirts of Lagos. So Lagos State is actually doing so well from my own end in ensuring that malnutrition crisis is being totally erased, if that exists.
Yeah.
So now, our second question is going to be, how does the global nutrition crisis intersect with other public health challenges, such as climate change and also poverty?
Oh my goodness.
So how do they intersect? Yes,
well,
sir.
it does intersect in the aspect of first of all, like we already said, accessibility. One. So if you are in a food deficit area, one of the cause of that could be climate change. What do I mean by that? What if you were in an area that got consistent rain, and now because of climate change, you are receiving consistent drought? Or what if you didn't get a lot of rain before, but you had steady rain and your farmers knew what to do, but now your neighborhood is flooded consistently, so the farm products is damaged. Like in the United States, they have regions that never receive snow, that are receiving snow now like crazy, that will kill off the crops, and that causes food price to go up, you know. And then if you don't have the income to pay for the food costs, now you're back to the accessibility issue because you lack funds. So it all interwoven with each other, you know, because climate change affects every aspect of our life.
Okay, so thank you very much, Mr. Alfonso. I'm just going to quickly move on to our next question. So what do you
Okay.
think are the most effective approaches to advocating for better nutrition policies and programs?
Let me start with what the West call the third world. Okay.
Do what?
A proper advocacy for better nutrition would be back to the soil. Back to the soil. You know, we had a president in Liberia, because I'm originally from Liberia. We had a president in Liberia in the 70s who was advocating for Liberia's self-sufficiency in food and nutrition. And the soil is tropical, and we get the same 6 months rain I guess you guys receive in Nigeria. And you know, we have a young forest there, good canopy, good for planting year round. So he was advocating for Liberia's self-sufficiency. We were growing all kinds of rice: red rice, yellow rice, brown rice, white rice, everything. And the food was surplus then. But those in politics fought against that. And they killed him before he could even get his program off the ground. I said that to say that, you know, if we go back to the root, okay, try to help the farmers, or try to even become farmers ourselves. Even if you're starting small with a little garden in your backyard, you know, it will help your nutritional intake, because then you start to see that you start to see changes in your body when you start eating fresh fruits and vegetables and fresh grains and herbs and stuff like that. You start to see nutritional change. Even your skin start to glow better. It start to get smoother. You know, anytime people come from Africa to the United States, people always say, "Man, why your skin so smooth?" Because you just got done eating healthy food. Welcome to the land of processed food. So yeah, going back to the soil will really change a lot of things.
So
Sound a little
thank
bit
you very
radical,
much.
but you know, at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for actually sharing that, because we actually have to go back to the soil. I know a lot of us would think that, oh, farming is not my thing, it's not something I can do, and all of that. But as you have said, we can actually start small. You can plant. Also in Nigeria, there is something called ewedu. Do you know what that is?
I think so.
Okay,
But
so ewedu is
refresh.
actually, it's a green soup or a green stew that draws. It's just
Right,
like
right, right.
okra.
I know Ewedu. Yes.
Yes. So it's different. So some people plant ewedu in their house and they
Yeah.
actually use it to eat whatever they want to eat. Some
Right.
people plant mango. So for example,
Yes.
in my own compound, we have pawpaw, we have banana, we have
Yeah.
catfish, we have turkey, we have chicken. So
Right.
it's just quite interesting, and it gives
Right.
you that sense of joy and pride, knowing fully well that you are also contributing your own quota to the society, to the environment, and also majorly to yourself, because you are the one that would be enjoying fresh food and fresh feed. thank you very much for actually bringing that to our listeners and our delegates, because I'm also a very big advocate for small farming, because you can actually do something. So I'm
Yeah.
challenging everyone on the call today to also think of something you can actually plant in your backyard, or something you just feel, okay, let me just do this because I attended work events. Yeah, so thank you very much for actually sharing that. And
Okay.
so our next question, or let's just pick a question from the chat box, because I saw a particular question from the chat box. Let me quickly read it. Sorry, sir, a minute.
It's from
Sorry.
Ananaya. He says, what update about food security and nutrition in Africa, and what next steps? I think Mr. Wissy, he kind of answered it a bit in terms of, but food security. Is there anything else you want to add? Because he was like asking what update about food insecurity.
Okay, so let
Well,
me just refresh for him. So it's just
okay.
like asking, like, generally, what's like the update on food insecurity across the globe, and food nutrition generally across the globe, and what is the next roadmap to actually curb malnutrition and also food security in Africa and also in the globe. So what's like the updates from your end?
Well, to curb malnutrition and food insecurity, I believe it starts in your local communities. You know, in Africa, we like to focus everything on the government. Okay. And I don't see things like that. You see, the government has its role, but local communities have their role to play. Okay. And like we said, back to the soil. Right now, in the world, third world countries especially are saying poor, not because of money. They're saying poor even in health status. You know, death rates, mortality rates higher and everything. Why? Because of malnutrition. And the way how we can address that is, first of all, going through the grassroots. And I don't like to use their big datas, because the datas usually are not accurate. It doesn't truly reflect the situation on ground. Because it's like this. In my village, when the surveyors go there to take information on my villagers that are in the bush doing their farming, so the data is not really accurate. Africa as a whole, and I will speak for Africa because I'm an African, we can feed ourselves. The problem is organization from the community level has to take place, and awareness have to be brought to bear. Why? Because if people don't know, they will not know how to act. They will not know how to proceed if they don't know what to do. So it starts from the grassroots level in the various community. If you are in Lagos, it's not the whole Lagos that's going to listen to you, but your little community that you are in Lagos, you can start there by raising awareness of food insecurity and the problem with processed food, and why we should go back to the soil and stuff like that, so that we are not seen as dying breed, but we are seen as self-sufficient people with a brighter future.
Oh, thank you very much for actually bringing that again to our view, because we actually need to raise awareness about the issue of malnutrition, food insecurity, and every one of us have a role to play. Everything is not like the government is the government, that's the government is bad, the government is this. However, we as persons, what role are we playing? How are we contributing to all of this? Thank you very much. So I'm actually challenging us again to go back to our various community and also advocate for food security. Tell people why they actually have to stay away from processed food. Tell people why they actually have to like eat good food, why they actually have to contribute to making their own good meals. Thank you very much for actually bringing that to our hearing, Mr. Alfonso. Thank you very much, sir.
Sure,
So
sure.
Yes. So what role do you think technology play in addressing nutrition challenges and improving food systems?
Well, technology can play a big role, especially when it comes to information technology, how the people receive the information counts. Now, cell phones are all over the villages, and also farming technology. Now we have farm equipments that can cultivate your land without a driver using GPS satellite systems. You don't need to, and then even using global data, you can know when rain will be in this particular area or not. Or you can tell whether it is prone to drought or not by getting information, sent to you through your local means, through the internet or wherever you can get that information from. So technology plays a big part, whether it is cultivating the land, planting the seed, harvesting the crop, or just getting the information that you need. Technology plays a big part.
So thank you very much for actually also like telling us that technology actually has a huge role to play when it comes to farming and also optimizing the results that farmers get
Right.
from farming. Yeah, so what do you think are actually the steps that can be taken to ensure accountability and long-term progress in addressing the nutrition crisis that exists?
Well, like I talked earlier about the grassroots organization, grassroots organizing, you know, uh, uh, um, if a community wanted to make sure that every citizen in that community uh, is nutritionally sound, and they put a plan together and execute the plan, then they will be taxed with the responsibility of holding people's feet to the fire to make sure that everything is being done the way it's supposed to be done. You see, because that's the only way we can be accountable for what's happening. But if we do nothing and just like I said earlier, depend on the government and say, what is the government doing? Tinubu is this, Tinubu is that, or in my case, Joe Boyka is this, or Joe Biden is this. You know, those guys are eating fresh. What we need to do is focus on our own and hold ourselves accountable. It starts with the person. There's an old proverb that says revolution doesn't start in the street. It starts in the houses of the people of the community. So it has to start grassroots first, and we got to start holding ourselves accountable for our nutritional intake and what our outlook look like.
Thank you very much for actually sharing that. Indeed, revolution doesn't start in the streets. It starts in
No.
every household. We need to bring
Yes.
every household on board. Thank you very much, sir, for actually sharing. Okay, Vic is saying we have to wrap up. So let's just get some questions before we call it a day. It's been an amazing session, and we have been on session 13. And Mr. Alfonso Wyse is actually talking to us about addressing the global nutrition crisis through health advocacy, and it's been an amazing session with him. So if you have any question, can we just send in our questions before we wrap it up?
One more thing I must add before we go is that
yeah, I'm with you.
If at all possible, I know Africans, we love MSG. We love MSG. If you can stay away from a huge amount of MSG, don't put it in every stew. It's that white powder that look like salt that you add to the soup to make it taste better and all the kind of stuff. That stuff is not very good for your heart. It's not very good for your blood pressure. So if you can stay away from that, you'll be doing good.
Yes, they call it seasoned salt. Seasoned salt. We have it in the Caribbean too. I'm originally from the Caribbean, and that's where they put it in like the noodles, the Maggi noodles, and yeah, we used to love it in the soups and the stews. But you're absolutely right, Mr. Wyse. The research has shown it is one of the leading ingredients causing cancers.
And heart disease. Yeah.
and heart disease. So yeah, stay away from
Yep.
that MSG. It's not good.
Yep.
But so since I didn't get any question, let me just like quickly wrap up by bringing us back to what on how this session has been. So one of our expected outcome at the beginning of this session is to ensure that we have enhanced our understanding of the global nutrition crisis and its underlying causes, which I believe at the beginning of this session, Mr. Alfonso Rice have actually introduced to us what is happening as it relates to global nutrition. And he has also shared a lot of insights into practical knowledge of advocacy strategies that we can also like do in our own end. So I'll just run us through some things I've actually jotted down, just for those who actually joined late. One of which is when you're in high stress environment, you should ensure you're very careful with whatever you're going to eat. Ensure you try as much as possible to stay away from processed food, eat fresh food, fresh meats, drink clean drinks. Avoid all this soda and whatever. Also, eat what is good for you. You know what is good for you. Ensure you eat what is good for you. And also, when it comes to the issue of malnutrition and how they affect different regions, Mr. Alfonso Rice has also made us realize that it is actually the wealth distribution and accessibility that play a huge role when it comes to that. And also, we as persons, we need to do a lot of advocacy when it comes to preaching nutrition, good nutrition, and also everything about malnutrition to our various community and how it also affects a lot of people. And finally, he also advised us to become farmers. And because when you become farmer, when you start eating fresh food and all, you start seeing those things on your skin. You start glowing differently. And you also have to start in your local community. One of the effective approaches is by us starting in our various household, which he has actually told us. And I want to actually appreciate the World Health Exhibition Conference for actually putting this for us, because this is actually going a long way for every one of us, because we have actually taken some actionable points and strategies where we can also start from. So we can also create our various awareness. It's going to be small. We can just tell someone, maybe our next neighbor, and just say, okay, you see what? I've joined the session. And one thing I will tell you is that find a particular fruit or a particular food you know you can plant in your neighborhood and just do that. And in the next 2-3 months, you can actually reap your own results. And there are also a lot of farming technology that you can actually use. And farming is not restricted to planting cassava, planting bananas, planting plantain. You can also go into fish farming. You can go into snail rearing. You can go into all of that. You just have to do some research. And now we have ChatGPT, which is also like one of the things that technology has done for us. Joe Biden is eating fresh food. Donald Trump is eating fresh food. So what is stopping you from eating fresh food? Thank you very much. Do well to have a great evening. See you in the next session. Bye, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Saba. Man, Energizer Bunny. I did not think
Thank
someone
you.
Kim, but man, both of you running a competition there. And thank you so much, Mr. Wize. That was absolutely such a very insightful, very, very relevant, timely presentation. Thank you for your time out of your busy schedule. Know that you're, in the middle of your workday, but thank you so much for so much wisdom coming into this World Health Conference and just dropping all those great information with us about taking better care of our health and how stress, really, really big thing there, how the stress really affects our body and the whole nutrition process. So thank you so much, Mr. Wice. We'll definitely be connecting and collaborating again on, future projects. So God bless you, and, see you soon again and talk soon. And now,
bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. So thank you. At this time, I'm going to invite our chairman, Mr. Ayomide Ilawai, to lead us into our closing ceremony. Yes, sir. Our delegates, they've been so faithful, still here on the call with us, but now Come on, people. It's TGIF. It's Friday. Some of you, it's late in the afternoon already, and we've got to go. We've got to go out tonight, Friday night. Okay, over to you, Mr. Ayomide Iwalai. Close us out. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much, Victoria. Good evening or good afternoon, or possibly for those in Australia, Japan, good morning. I believe we're having a great day, and for the past 3 days, I believe that's been very much exciting, impactful. We've gained a lot of knowledge from all of our amazing speakers, and also recognize first Victoria for your wonderful contribution from the first day up till now, and also to our amazing hosts. What a wonderful from Basit Saba to Kim Albert to Precious Ejiba and everyone, both speakers and moderators, you've done beautifully well. Also to our delegates, I think I can take the time to call everyone's name one by one, seeing that we're still in our mailing stage. It's not until when we're now on the big stage we can't call everyone's name again. So Amina Amisu, Anna Cleto Soares, Anania Aliu, Blessing Makovise, Christiana Ugo, Chrissy Kenneth, Evangelist Oparaja, also apologize for the name correctly. Emmanuel Nwataji, Eric Suki, Betachu, Faith Abigail, Flora Atiega, Gloria Ansa, Jessica Fioma, Jonathan Esigo, Katrina Lisi, Latifa Awolere, Masuma Yusufu, Matwa Emmanuel, Mohammed Al Akil, Mohammed Yusuf, Musa Fofana, Joku Great, Oluchidre, Oyeka, Etokuro, Sarah Okechukwu, Antola Theophilus, Yahaya Abdullahi, and Mohammed Agdara. I really appreciate everyone, and also for those that have joined previously from day 1, day 2, and day 3. I believe also before I share and go through my speech, I believe we learned more than enough from all of the sessions, much more in depth from the youth innovation sessions to lessons learned from the post-pandemic down to climate change and health intersection. I believe during these 3 days, we've talked almost in every session, or should I say just at the beginning of the days, we've had major conversations in the intersection of climate change and health, which is very critical because a few weeks ago, we also just finished a conversation at Azerbaijan in Baku concerning how climate change is one of the major determinants of not just the global disease, but also poverty and major, should I say, major challenges in the global south specifically, since this initiative is majorly focused on the global south. And we're excited that you've all joined us from all of the various regions of all of the various continents. I would also love to reiterate, just like I mentioned during the opening ceremony, that this is not just an event. It does not just end here. It's also a network. So you could join the network. Possibly, if you'd love to be a part of the planning for 2025, it's all open. Just visit our LinkedIn page or our Instagram or directly on the website, or just forward a mail to the secretariat that has been sending you various emails and just show interest to be a part of the team. You could also join the network as a partner, networking partner, media partner, event co-host. A lot of partnership on ground for us, and then sponsorship also. And then we also have opportunities to speak for 2025. 2025 is going to be hybrid, just like how Victoria said. This year was meant to be hybrid, but we just had to make a decision because of all of the issues we faced in October / early November. And we're very much excited to welcome everyone in person in London, United Kingdom. for 2025, December, the first week in December, and the first Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in December 2025. Also, this is also a sneak peek for those that are still here, because those that wait till the end need to get more and more information. So our registration platform will be online first, possibly the first month or second month of 2025. So you could get your visa support letter early and start planning ahead of December, and not just getting your visa by September, October, and just almost a few months. So we would make sure we give the enough timing to prepare for your travel and get enough support. If you'd love to request any form of letter, seeing that you've been a past delegate for 2024, you can just kindly reach out to the Secretariat. So it has been a beautiful discussion for the past 3 days. I would also love to thank the committee, because for the past 7 months, even though it's just I think about 15% on the call, but nevertheless, they would rewatch the read broadcast. Thank you to Richard, to Dr. Raga, to Victoria, to Dr. Saravana, even though he just recently joined, to Natasha, welcome, to Kevin from Canada, and all of the chairs, all of the vice chairs, all of the committee members. And it has been a very wonderful 7 months planning all of this. I believe definitely going to make much more impactful work for 2025 and beyond. Without any further ado, I would also love to reiterate that it goes beyond just now, and not just beyond the network. Actions are needed. Actions are needed. I believe from our surveys, about 35% to 45% are CEOs, executive directors, global directors in their various organizations. So we would love you to pass this baton to others, because that's how we can truly make this change. Just like how we've requested support and you guys have come, you should also pass it to others. More people need this knowledge. More people need this possibly this network. It's not necessarily you redirect them to the World Health Experience Conference, but you could also set some structures or some initiatives up for them to also be a part of the conversation, be a part of the action. That is even much more important. The initiative, or who is the leader, that let's put that aside. What matters is how we can create change for health for all. That's the major vision. That's what we should be focused on. So let's take actions, provide more initiatives in our various local regions, start from the grassroots level, very much important. And without further ado, I believe I can pass it over to Victoria. So thank you very much, everyone. And see you guys 2025 in London. Thank you very much.
Thank you to our chairman, Mr. Ayamide Iwalayi, out of Nigeria. I told you, sir, the Nigerians outnumbered us today, but I love it. But yes, just thank you, everyone. Delegates, you have all been amazing. For a little while, Ayo was cutting out, some network issues there, but he was acknowledging everyone on the call. And he, acknowledged like everyone who joined for the previous past days. And so, yes, we definitely want to acknowledge, our knowledge partners, a lot of you too already on the call here. He said some of you all, but I just want to run through real quick so we don't miss anyone. The VIPIA, the Lagos University Teaching Hospital, CRE, FAT Global Platform, the Biakil Media, SDG Hub, University of Ibadan, Singh Environmental Protection Agency, Government of Sindh, Pakistan, Ministry of Finance, Ethiopia, God's Love Herbal Hospital, God's Will Foundation, Center for the Right to Health, Health Bridge Foundation, Rose Academies, Bella Foundation for Child and Maternal Care, Lemire Technologies, Code Mentor, Somali Environmental Development Organization, CEDO, United Social Welfare Society, Merowa, Junior School Kampala, Futures Adventures, Big Sisters Organization. Yes, I saw them. They were very active in the chat there. Wachimo University, Foundation for Climate Health Solutions, Trianon, Scientific Communication, Inclusion for All, Educating Girls and Young Women for Development, EGYD, I believe Precious or one of our moderators, Zanzibar University, Nextware Technologies, Gen Disease, Passionate Group for Green Business, the Fight Against Climate Change, the Wellbeing Foundation Africa, Mbulu Education Network, Abraham Canadian University, Quest, Metamorphosis Education Consultants, Youth Help Sierra Leone, Partnership for the Goals, Their World, Global Youth Ambassadors, Boli Sither. Yes, yes. So, just a shout out to all of you great individuals who, represented your organizations during this conference. And if, we didn't call you by name, just know that our hearts are with you. And we are just so grateful that you have been here with us. Continue to engage via the delegate group. We're going to do it bigger and better in 2025. I want to meet all of you delegates in person, so make sure you apply early for your visa support letters and, just getting to London, UK. Yes, Tola, thank you so much for great engagement in the chat. You all just blew up the chat. We already see, let me read some of these parting closing comments. Divine Gift says, being part of this conference is one of the best things that has happened to me. Oh, that's so sweet to hear. Tola says, yeah, you said it. Mohammed Aidara said, it's sad that the conference is ending today. I'm already with tears. Oh my God, yes, I can identify. I can sincerely attest that this conference was great. It's the best experience I ever attend or witness. I wish more of this exhibition, and I can't wait to attend face-to-face. Indeed. Ishmael Dan Maliki says, I'm glad to be a part of 2025. Yes, we are looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you, Saba. Somebody loved Saba's energy. Jonathan Ostigbo says, thank you for this World Organization Health Conference. Yes, thank you so much, guys. You just were amazing in the chat, and thank you for sticking with us even when we encountered, technology was trying to give us a TKO, a technical knockout. Yeah. But you stayed with us, and we overcame the tech issues. So thank you so much. TGIF, it's Friday. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and your evening, your night, your morning. For those of you who it's early morning, it was my utmost pleasure these past days, my utmost pleasure these past 3 days to have just shared in this wonderful experience with you, having these great conversations, making these great networks. Remember, let's connect with each other on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on YouTube. I believe the recordings, there will be some recordings. So go ahead and subscribe to the MAI Foundation YouTube channel. Yes. And look out for those videos to come, because I believe there are some recordings that we're gonna, fine tune and make sure that you can review the sessions. Can't wait to meet you in person too. Wonderful. So God bless you, everyone. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. Pay attention to your nutrition. Pay attention to your stress levels. Just let's take away those great suggestions. Take care of our environment. Recycle as much as we can. Do things that will make our communities safe. Let us advocate for ourselves. Let us advocate for our neighbors, and just make the world and our communities a better and safer place. I love you all. God bless. Walk good. In Jamaica, we would say, see you next time. Walk good. Bye-bye. Ta-ta. Ciao. All right, then. Bye-bye, everyone.